And what's up, everybody? I'm terribly sorry about the bad video quality. I got this light, the windows behind me, but we're going to be using this television. Hi, so I'm None Defense. Real name is Matthew, Matt, I prefer. But just call me None. It's been my gamer name on this YouTube channel. I've stopped playing the game Boom Beach, but I still play it, just not much, so it's not worth having to do any videos on it. But anyway, I'm still alive. Still having a good time and enjoying life all in all. Angie's working, my son's working. I've got applications out there. It's only a matter of time till I land a job, so we're pretty happy about that. So what I'm doing today is something a little different. I've been, doing a lot of work projects out in the garage, and I'm going to be going out there in just a bit. But I've been watching, a lot of YouTube in my spare time, and even if it's just going on in the background. And those of you who know me know I love to gather opinions. I love it. I love talking to people about different things and, different ideas and getting good, honest discussion going. It's just a great way to expand your mental horizons and everything. There's a YouTuber who has been around for, I think, a few months, but I stumbled across him maybe 2 weeks ago. His name is Jamal, and he is a black guy from North Carolina, and he is a Trump supporter. And that's okay. That's fine. And excuse the kitties. That's Buddy right there sniffing the camera, and this is Emily right here next to me. But anyway, so Buddy, you're in the way of the camera. So what we're doing today is Jamal. Come on, Buddy, you're killing me. Jamal posted a video earlier this morning, and I watched it, and where the parts that I agree with him, I agree with him. The parts that I disagree with him, I disagree with him. And of course, where the parts I agree, anytime I agree with a Trump supporter, all the liberals are going to call me, some kind of silly name. And if I agree with a Hillary supporter, then all the Republican people, they're going to call me silly names and all that. Whatever. I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a liberal, not a conservative, not a moderate, not an independent. I'm a Steelers fan. If you have to define me as something, I choose for you to define me as that. Now, understand that this is filming like backwards, so it may be, I don't know, can you read that? Whatever. So, let's watch Jamal. It was a 6.5 minute video, and do we get the button? There we go. And, he just made some interesting points. I asked in the comments, I asked his permission if I could do a response video. He did give me permission to do this video. So we're going to get this going. Are we still connected? I don't think we're connected. No, we're not connected. Give me just a moment. Okay, well, as that's loading up, we're going to get the video played on the big TV there. One of the things that I really like about Jamal is he obviously works hard for a living, very intelligent, very articulate, but he also has a very good sense of humor, enjoys, making a variety of, he obviously... He obviously has earned the right to his opinions, so God bless you for everything that you're doing. And it's great that you're out there talking to people and getting people engaged. And the channel is growing. And I hope right now you're at 7,500 subscribers. I am one of them. I'm proud to be so and will continue to be so. And I hope that your channel grows exponentially. And I hope you put Alex Jones out of business personally, because I think you come at things from a better perspective than him. But so we're just going to focus only on this video. And for perspective, let me just grab this. I do live in the state of Washington, the land of one of your legendary sanctuary cities, and we're going to be talking about that as well.
Out here in Durham, it's cold. It's about 29 degrees. About to get to work. Had to stop for breakfast, and while we getting breakfast, I was sitting there and I said, I'm going to stop and make a quick video.
Good idea, thank you.
All right.
Gave me something to do this morning.
Now, we all witnessed that dumpster fire, Rachel Maddow releasing President Trump 2005 tax returns and showed he paid a higher percentage in taxes than what he really had to, $38 million.
Now, I watched that Rachel Maddow expose, and it's certainly true that she, she filled an hour-long show with 5 minutes of material. That's true. I'll give you that. I think what was most fascinating, though, about the whole thing in general was she was talking specifically about the documents that weren't there. She very clearly was just outlining or having various tax attorneys and were like, yeah, for somebody who made $150 million that year, which the documents claim he did, there would be a lot more documents, especially when you consider how diversified his portfolio is. So what the question that she spent a lot of time asking about was not so much as saying, "Oh, see, he made a bunch of money, and he paid a bunch of taxes." One of the questions I think she was asking is, "How come we're only getting this? How come we're only getting the 2 little pages that look like everything's kosher? When we know from other millionaires and billionaires and their tax returns that there are pages and pages and novels of various information." So I think that's the question that she was asking. So let's go back into it.
$150 million? Come on. Hey, Rachel, how does it feel to look really stupid? I'm not talking about stupid as we as conservatives and Republicans know you do on your show. But when CNN says you are certified dumpster juice,
So you're claiming here that CNN said that Rachel Maddow was certified dumpster juice. Now, I feel like I have a decent understanding of your sense of humor, so I'm sure that you're just kind of over-exaggerating the point for a comedic effect. And that's good. I do that all the time in the points that I make. The question that I asked, though, is I can't find anywhere that CNN said anything, that they really bashed her. So if somebody in the comments, or if you can email me the link at nunedefense@gmail.com, whatever, like I'd be happy, to look at the evidence, what that you're talking about. I just haven't seen it, and I've looked, I watched your video, and then I spent like 20 minutes trying to find it, and that's when I was like, can I just do a response video? And that's how we ended up here. And I am smoking a joint right now, Washington State, very legal. Thank you.
You are certified burning dumpster, Rachel. You look as stupid as you ever did before conservatives like me was laughing.
Well, if you think this makes her look stupider than ever, then you clearly haven't been watching her as long as I have. There's been plenty of other more egregious examples of her making a fool out of herself. The thing that I do like about Rachel Maddow is, while it's true, excuse me, while it's true that many of the questions that she asks are coming from a political bias, but Jamal, so are yours. You know what I mean? So it's hard for me as a Steelers fan, not Republican, Democrat, or whatever. It's hard for me to look at Rachel Maddow and dismiss everything she's saying because she's coming at it from a political bias, whereas you're also coming at it from a political bias. So how does that not discount everything that you're saying? And these are the conversations. If you were chilling in this room with me right now, whether you were smoking this joint or not, I would ask you these questions, and we would have a chill conversation on it.
This is normal when we watch anything at MSNBC. But when CNN says you are a pile of flaming hot garbage,
Jen can't find it,
and you look that stupid,
she's looked stupider.
Hey, we enjoyed it. Last night, a judge in Hawaii.
The fact that you enjoyed it and that you're claiming that all conservatives enjoyed this moment, to me, underlines the fact that they're not looking at the entire picture. Now, I'm not saying that she had any incriminating evidence, nor am I making any grand conspiracy that was the case. I'm just acknowledging that if you watch the entire piece and just look at things and ask some fair questions, you'll come to at least, some conclusions. And I'm not saying that that's going to seal your opinion one way or another, but you'll at least, be intelligent enough to say, well, that is a good question. How come we're only getting these 2 documents and not, the grand litany? Who wanted the man to receive those documents in the mail? Various comments are saying that it was, obtained illegally. Well, they'll have to prove it. If it was obtained illegally, then those people have to prove that that's true. But, if Trump can claim that he's being wiretapped and surveilled, is that a word? And then not submit any proof, then, that's the standard, I'm afraid, right now. And that's the standard that your president set. Well, my president, too. He's our president. I am an American.
Block the President Trump's travel restrictions. And then a Maryland judge piled on it, too. We are sick of this. I'll be honest. So many of us Republicans and conservatives, we're sick of this. We are sick and tired of these judges making laws from the bench. Then our representatives, our judges don't do that. What they like.
Well, I would disagree with you there on both points that you made. For those who, don't speak North Carolinian, what he was saying there is that left-leaning judges, tend to make laws from the bench, and they say, nope, this is going to be the law, this is going to be the way it is, and I'm sure he used, I forget that female Hispanic judge, I can't even know, but the one that Obama supported and nominated, her first. Sotomayor? Is that it? I don't know. I smoke a lot of weed, people. I don't pretend to know everything, but I do look things up when I try to have questions. But anyway, so they're saying that they make legislation from the bench, from the, with the little gavel and let it be law. Well, that's not necessarily true, but I understand. I'm not going to argue too much about the semantics of what you're coming from. But to say that the Republican or left-leaning guys don't, I think that that's not true. No, I don't have any grand examples, but if I'm willing to wager that if you looked unbiasedly at the entire picture, not just the stuff that makes the flashy headlines and all that stuff, but look at all the decisions that are being made by judges on both left and right, the ones that don't get reported, just sitting there at a desk, whether they're. And I'm not talking about a shadow government or anything. I'm just talking about a guy sitting down and was like, oh, I see we got to do this. Sign off on that. Sign off on that. Pound the gavel. Move on with the day. Next, please. And it happens. And it happens all the time and you never hear about it. There is no grand conspiracy. It's just judges are human. Left-leaning and right-leaning. They are human and they're ultimately going to make decisions based on their best, information that they're willing to accept as reasonable, and which often comes down to, culture, life experiences, things of that nature, so no, I'm not going to just make some grand statement like, oh no, the left are doing it, but the right aren't. Well, no, that's just silly.
To do is tell us, well, we have to be fair. We can't do the same things they do. Yes, we should. Yes, we should. If it's a conservative city, you know what they should do? They say, you know what? If y'all want to have sanctuary cities would put American lives in danger, we want to do background checks for people to get firearms.
So I live in a sanctuary city. And let me tell you what that really means. All it really means is if an undocumented person, an illegal alien, and in this area, there are several from Mexico, but there are also a lot from some islands. Some of our neighbors are from Saipan, which if you don't Google that, that's an obscure place to be from. Are they here documented? I don't know, and I'm not going to ask. That's basically what it means to be in a sanctuary city. It just means if my neighbor's from Saipan, if he gets into an accident, just a small little fender bender, nobody's hurt, and the cops have to get called because that's the law. You have to call the cops when there's a fender bender and report it to insurances. That's the law. It just means the cop's going to get there and he's going to ask for IDs of everybody involved. And if you can present a legal driver's license, then that's as far as it goes. Now, if the undocumented worker or person or, a bad hombre, if he doesn't have a driver's license, he's then going to be fined for not having his ID, driving without his license, all of that stuff. But they are not that what sanctuary means is that this guy who is driving without a license, okay, without insurance and all that, that's not automatic deportation. That's basically all sanctuary city means. And then when you're talking about, the opposite, so, oh, well, we don't want sanctuary cities, then I ask this question, and no conservative has been able to answer this question to me satisfactorily, which is, if you don't want sanctuary cities, do you want mass deportations? Meaning guards, people with guns going and pounding on people's doors and taking them home and, shipping them back. And then you say, oh, we need to, deport only the criminals. Like, okay, well, let's say somebody commits a heinous act against, a person. Well, do we really want to deport that person, or do we want to send them to jail? Well, personally, I don't want to deport them, and if they've committed a crime on our American soil, I want them to do time in American prison. I don't want to send them back home where they might get off easy just because. It's easier for these small little third world governments to just, send them back out into the fields and, let God have mercy. I am an atheist, so, when I say God, I'm talking about the fictitious one. All righty.
Return the favor. Better yet, we'll shut down all the Planned Parenthoods. We'll shut down all the abortion clinics. Hey, y'all want to violate the Constitution until we start hitting back. I made this analogy on the KC.
I would love to have a conversation with you on abortion rights and talk more about Planned Parenthood. But that's a whole another video. That's something we should talk about maybe like in private, because I don't know how much of your personal views you'd be wanting made public, because I got nothing to hide personally.
They show what I call them, which is this. Anybody ever play video games? And like me, I was a Marvel versus...
I'm going to skip forward about 2 minutes here. The analogy that he's making here, and it was a very clever one, is that if you're playing video games, if you keep doing the cheap, easy moves, and that you can often kind of just force your opponent into a rage submission, a rage quit, they're like, ah! And the way to beat those type of players is to do those same type of tactics and frustrate them and make them rage quit. And the point is, he's saying that's what the judges should do. He's like, if the leftist judges are doing this, then the rightist judges are doing this. Again, I don't have any grand examples or any charts or lists, but I'm telling you, I promise you, if you just unbiasedly looked at everything, you would find that it's happening. It about balances out. Obama got frustrated with judges and stuff, and much of it didn't even go unreported, or didn't go reported. It just kind of just fluttered on. We had to know who was American Idol that week instead.
Because too many times we come off looking like Charlie Brown. Every time he know Lucy gonna pull that ball from him.
He knows it.
But he's still trying up there, hoping she gonna change. She gonna be different. Republican Party. I love you.
Well, the point that he's making here, I read as the same frustration that led me away from the Republican Party when John McCain got the nomination, because I used to be this guy. Maybe not exactly this guy, but I mean, in terms of ideology, like, we were very similar. It was kind of the frustration that we got out of John McCain, Mitt Romney, and then a bunch of other little things I'm not going to get into. But that's what just made me like, no, you know what? Fuck the Republicans. Excuse the language.
You know I love you. But this spineless, henpecked, sissified, jelly belly crap y'all keep pulling, how about you stand up, show you got a pair between your legs,
yes,
and fight.
Show.
Fight,
show.
We're sick of it. We sent you guys to the office to fight, not sit there and cry.
Fight! That's what we want.
Sit there and, listen, we're trying to be friends. We're trying to reach out. Stop it. Time to get in and fight. If you ain't trying to fight as Republicans, then get out. Let somebody else, let another conservative step in who's willing to fight.
I'm in no position to ever defend a Republican, okay? Because they have done very little to impress me over the past 10 years. Democrats as well. I hate everybody. But if I had to defend the Republicans in this situation, I think it's more of like they know they got just an idiot. I'm sorry to say, but they got somebody who is like, I know the spin is, oh, well, he thinks outside the box and he's an entrepreneur and, oh, he, just is going to tear down, the status quo and he's going to rebuild it in his image or something. Like, I feel like most of the Republicans right now are just kind of sitting in a room talking amongst themselves. I'm like, guys, this guy doesn't have a freaking clue. Like, yeah, it sounds great and it looks beautiful on a poster, make America great again. But, what does that really mean? And these conversations are happening in back rooms and they have no answer. And that's what I'm afraid, the problem is running into. And I'm afraid that's what the Trump legacy is going to show. That was Molly that just went past. I do have 4 kitties.
Until liberals realize we will use their tactics back on them and on things they like. Ban immigration. If they want to sit there and have sanctuary cities, okay, well, fine then. We're not going to enforce felon with a firearm act. You can't do that. You can't do that. Oh, the Republicans are going totally lawless. Well,
for the people who didn't understand what he was saying, he says that basically because we have sanctuary cities, the conservative cities, I'll use my hometown of Meridian, Mississippi, that Meridian, Mississippi should just stop enforcing background checks so anybody can buy a gun, and he says, well, if you're not going to enforce sanctuary cities, or if you're going to have sanctuary cities, we're going to have sanctuary cities. He also goes on to say that that conservative cities should allow pro-life protesters into the Planned Parenthood clinics, and say, oh, it's already, it's their right, it's a what did he call it? I don't want to, well, I'll play it.
Now
We've only got a minute
how us
left.
conservatives feel and Republicans feel when you liberals do it. You can't allow protesters inside the Planned Parenthood and abortion clinics. You can't do that. We're not going to enforce that law. Hey, we feel it's birth sanctuary. And all
Birth sanctuary.
People we believe have rights at birth.
Birth sanctuary. So, and I understand, Jamal, you're not saying that this is what we should do. You're just saying that, for example, and I get it. And I'm willing to wager that, if we sat down side by side, just chilling out, you probably drink beer. I don't drink alcohol. I just smoke marijuana, but whatever. If we were just chilling out, 2 brothers, as common Southerners, then I think you would, I think you would admit that, you don't want this extreme. You're just asking for your representation to represent what you're actually pushing for. You're also wanting, Trump to get his way. The questions that you and I would have privately or publicly, if it ever could happen, would definitely be more about, are you so certain that everything Trump has said is going to happen? And our conversation would kind of build off of that. I think we could go a lot of places with that. But let's go ahead and just let him get his last 30 seconds.
You will see them sit down to the table and stop that crap. So you got a choice, Republicans. What are you going to do? You're going to sit down and you're going to still continue to get beat up, or you're actually going to fight back? We got a president in office, President Donald J. Trump, that's fighting. Let me repeat. President Donald J. Trump is fighting.
Oh, he's fighting. All right. He's fighting reality, I'm afraid. He is fighting reality, and I mean that term in so many interpretations, and I'd be happy to go over all of them.
You Republicans pick up and start fighting too.
They won't. They'll only disappoint you.
Good morning.
Thank you.
Hope you have a blessed and wonderful day.
Thanks, you too, Jamal. Thanks so much for having me with you. That was awesome. So I'm going to turn this TV off. But there you go. So that was my response video to Mr. Jamal. Again, Jamal, thank you so much for giving me permission to do this video. you know, man, you're really smart. And I've read a lot of your comments. It's not, you know, because you're a smaller channel, you know, people have to try a little harder to find you. You know how that goes. That's just the way the algorithms go. But it seems like in your comment sections, so far it seems like everybody's been really reasonable. I personally haven't seen anybody going like ridiculously outrageous. Just people are supporting what you do, and they should. Absolutely, they definitely should. All right, I'm wrapping this video up. Thank you all again, and if you ever need anything, hit me up on this channel. Hit me up in a comment. You know, I can give you my Skype info. I can give you my home phone number. You know, whatever. You know, I'm pretty easy to reach. All right, thank you. And gotta get an editor soon. Peace.